Hello folks, it's me, RH131, and we're back again playing some World Tanks Blitz. Today we will be playing the Tier 6 German tank destroyer, the Nashorn. The Nashorn just being released, I believe patch update 2.9. The Grill 15 line was added to the German tech tree. The Nashorn being the Tier 6 tank destroyer in that line, very characteristic of all the tanks in that line, has absolutely no armor. But it does, and the main focal point is the gun, and that's really going to be one of the only assets this tank has. Going up from the toaster at Tier 5, the Panzer, however you pronounce that, we're just going to call it the Doom Toaster. It's an easy pronunciation of it. Going tier up from that, the Nashorn gets a better gun, slightly better armor, and I say slightly, really doesn't mean anything at all. No armor anyways, not like you're going to bounce anything. It does sacrifice a little bit of mobility, but the gun is a lot better, and it's got a pretty decent rate of fire, as you can see there. 6.1 second reload on the top gun here. Now we're here on Canal, so we're just going to move up to a nice bush, and that's when this retard, I have absolutely no idea what the hell this guy is thinking. It's just moments like those that really show you how terrible the people who play this game really are. Anyway, what we're doing here is I'm waiting to see in the bottom of the screen the camo net symbol. As soon as that pops in, that's when I'm going to start firing. This bush will give me a nice camo rating as well, so that camo net just helps to make sure that I'm not going to be able to be spotted by that M6 there. And as you can see here, we're basically just farming damage at this point. The Nashorn, like I said, main focus is the gun. As you can see here, we're able to put a very, very nice amount of rounds on target. We got, I believe, 3 into the M6, and there's a second one on the KV-1M, or KV-1, that's at 228. I have no idea what the hell that he was doing in a tier 6 match. That's why you don't platoon the tanks a tier above or below you. So I was going to look for the shot on the SU-100 there, but he moved off. So anyways, back to the overall abilities of the Nashorn. The gun, top gun on this tank, is the same gun the same 88mm gun you will get on the J-Panther, and it's amazing penetration for this tier. You're not going to be needing APCR pretty much anything you will face. The only thing I can think of maybe if you're facing ET-15A, tier 7 premium British tank destroyer, maybe Black Prince, or the turret of a T-29 that's looking at you. Other than that, you really don't need APCR for this gun. It's got amazing penetration, as the historical 88mm German guns did. So we're just going to relocate. All the targets from that position have been exhausted, so I'm moving around here. Very key in these tank destroyers, like I said earlier, the mobility is a bit lower than it was on the Doom Toaster Tier 5, but it's nonetheless still very good mobility. And as you can see there, even though I was behind the bush and I had a camo net up, the reason I got spotted was there was a T-30-45 down there in the valley, right below my gun, so he proximity detected me after I fired. Nothing could really do about that. So we're just going to continue pumping shots in. There's an SU-100. That one, I think, hit the cover, and it deflected a little. That one goes through. You can fire through cover. It doesn't work all the time, you can see there. And it's at this stage where my team goes from their amazing 5-4 advantage, and they just all decide to commit suicide at the same time. Didn't realize it to about this point, but our Leopard, you can see him back there, full health. He's AFK. Because why bother playing the game when you don't have to, because you'll still get tiny bits of experience. And it's just bad players like that that really make this game stand out. Now what you see me doing here is a bit dangerous. You really don't want to out-deep it. You don't want to get into a one-on-one fight unless you know you can win it. And the reason I engaged in that was I knew I could two-shot him, and he at most was going to get one shot in at me. Now, I'm not sure why the SU-100 decided to shoot me. I mean, I am a lightly armored tank destroyer, so he goes for the HE. And he brings us down to about nothing, basically. I thought he was going to go for the VK, which is why I stopped there. So it's just me and this VK, and I really hated myself for doing this because I was about to type to the VK, stay alive, but that's when I got that red dot, and I thought that T-30-45 was going to be able to kill me. Luckily, he was in the lower ground, so I managed to survive, and then the VK here is going to get taken out by the SU-100, but I'm able to quickly aim the gun, one-shot him. And that's good game for the Nashorn there. 3 kills, and as you guys see in the post-battle results, that's a 3,000 damage game. Now, one of the things to remember when you're playing this tank is unless you carry binos as well as a camo net in it, you're not going to be spotting for your own targets. It's way too lightly armored for that. So as you can see there, I only got a 2nd class mastery, not a lot of experience done. The way experience works in World of Tanks is that if you are not the one spotting the target, you get 50% of the XP you normally would for shooting at it. So unfortunately, that allowed me to not get a mastery badge, which that would have been had I spotted the targets myself, but I'm cheap and I don't pay for binos when I can just have the bots on my team spot for me. And that's really all they are, is bots. You can't rely on them to do pretty much anything more than that. Now, an interesting fact about the Nashorn, if anybody here watching this, if you've played World of Tanks PC or console, and you're familiar with the Tier 6 German artillery, the Hummel, the Nashorn is the exact same chassis as the Hummel, except tank destroyer version. So that really tells you about the armor of this tank. Definitely not built to take hits. Now, we're here on Middleberg for the next match. Top tier this time. Always nice when you're top tier. When you're not top tier, pretty much playstyle is the same. Hang back, support. You don't really want to be doing anything really aggressive in this line. Now, the Nashorn is really... People say it's not a good tank mainly because it doesn't have a really good camera rating. Also, it's not as quite maneuverable and it doesn't have a turret. But really what you want to do when you're in the Nashorn, just to do well in it, is just find a bush, use a camo net, stay as far away from the enemy as you possibly can, and just use the rate of fire of the gun to its advantage. That's your gun is your advantage. There is really nothing else about this tank that stands out as much as the gun does. So you're just going to want to put the gun to work as many times as you possibly can in a match, and that's really how you're going to want to do well in this tank. As we come up the hill here, we're about to see another example of retards in medium tanks. This Anko, I have absolutely no idea what the hell he is attempting to do. If he's attempting to push me, that's really stupid of him because my tank is easily able to go fast. There we go again, knocking me off to the sides. Just idiots like that you're going to have to put up with nowadays. Half the play, over 80%, 90% of the player base is just incompetent, as exhibited by that Anko and the VK3001P in the last match. Luckily, we were able to get up on the hill, and as you see here, KV1S spotted. We're going to start putting fire into them. I didn't pop my adrenaline immediately because I wasn't sure if these guys were going to hang around or if they would go off, but now that I see they're going to stay here, we're going to pop the adrenaline, get some more shots on target. And as you can see here, there's really no risk of me being spotted from this. I've got the camo net up, I'm stationary, and I'm very far away from them, so we're able to get some nice damage done there. And then I see I look at my map and I see the red line, and this Anko's under attack. One good thing your allies are here for is to draw fire. Since this T-3485 is clearly distracted, I'm just going to farm some quick damage off of him. Put one into him there, and then we're going to reload to finish him off. This game wasn't nearly as remarkable as the other one, which you're not going to have a lot of 3,000 damage games in the Nashorn, mainly because the hit point levels of this tier and just how this tank lives and dies with its team. You're not going to be able, unless you're facing extremely incompetent enemies or you've just got full health and they're all one-shots, you're really not going to be able to solo carry in this tank. It's just not what it was designed for. This tank needs a team for it to be able to inflict damage because mainly you have no armor and you only have 800 hit points. I mean, that's a KV2. He could have easily one-shot me. You can be one-shot by KV2s, SU-100Ys, anything with a high-caliber gun with HE can pretty much ruin your day if it hits you. So you want to play back when you're in this tank. And we were able to pick up a decent, I believe that was around 1,000 damage in that match. So it's not a terrible tank as most people make it out to be, but it's certainly not amazing in its aspect. If you want to free XP it, that's okay. Other than that, it is what it is. I mean, the Sturry Mill Tier 7 isn't that much of an improvement over it, but the Borsig and ultimately the Grill 15 make up for this in this line. And really what you want to do is you just want to play it as a tank destroyer. Classic, camp, snipe. It's not really camping. If somebody tells you on your team that you're a camper, they're obviously idiotic because this tank has no armor. It's not meant to be front line. So basically just camp. Camp at the back, snipe. Do whatever you want to do. Make sure that you are alive for as long as possible. The longer your gun is in the fight, the better you will do with this tank and other lightly armored tank destroyers. And that's going to be all for today, folks, and I'll catch you next time.